Don't worry, guys. I'm nervous too. My goodness. Guys, we got to realize something, though. We won a football game. We have reason to smile. The season, as of right now in this moment, is still alive. You have everything to play for. The team lived to fight another day. And no, it wasn't pretty. There was some bad stuff. If you watched my last video, we went through it. I got all my ranting done early this morning. I filmed that video this morning, and I left the room kind of angry. You know, I treated, and I'm treating the performance how I feel like the coaches are treating it with the team. Because we talked about it. I tweeted about it. You probably heard me say it. You lose a game, the coaches are going to grill you. You win a game like that, you win a game ugly, and you give them all that fuel. I did not plan that, coming off of Fuel by Metallica. You give the coaches all that fuel. You bet your ass they're going to grill you this week in practice. So we enter a pivotal week of preparation for Aggie football. You come off a feel-good win versus Florida. You have a chance to build on it. You have a chance to get better, to stamp your identity in. Whatever you found that game, you had a chance to stamp it in. And you couldn't get it done. And you saw the end result on Saturday. That McNeese game. That Bowling Green game. And if that's your preparation last week, obviously it wasn't enough. Obviously you didn't get right in the areas. You didn't bring it in certain areas on the team. You weren't consistent in certain areas on the team. That's the result you get. So now that they have that tangible evidence, they're having a serious ass week of practice. I can only imagine. So what I'm choosing to believe right now, on a Monday, before the Piggy, is that game will serve as a wake-up call, because this team still has talent. This team has still shown better than what they showed that game, and they still found a way to win it, although they almost lost it. There were about 3 opportunities that Bowling Green didn't capitalize on down the stretch. I expect better out of that back 7, and I know they're relatively unproven, but I expect more from Bryce Anderson. I expect more from Torrin York. I thought Scooby Williams actually played a great game, probably his best in maroon and white yet. I still really like Damian Sanford off the bench. I still like Marcus Radcliffe, even though he got into trouble a few times and played himself out of the game at times. I still like Dalton Brooks. I wish he could have played the whole game. But I think just certain players were somewhat aloof at times in that game, and I just think they didn't respect the task at hand largely. I don't know if you guys agree with me on that or not. And now we have to wait a week for the next chapter to see if indeed this can serve as a wake-up call, because that's how I'm choosing to feel right now. It goes the other way. The bad performance becomes habitual. You could lose to a 3-1 Arkansas team that very well could be 4-0 right now after outgaining and largely outplaying Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State in pretty much every statistical category outside of just critical mistakes. They made about 5 of them that game. They could be undefeated right now, and they're feeling good after beating Auburn by way of a 5-turnover game at Auburn, a weird place to play. Auburn has their own problems. We're not even there yet. Arkansas had to deal with that, and they got it done. You know they're feeling great right now, and you know Bobby Petrino is dialing it up for A&M. But I do think Arkansas is a team that'll get the best out of A&M. At least that's what we hope, right? Jerry World, always a wacky game. Both teams play really hard in that game. That's a fact. I think that's kind of why the game is always so close, but I think A&M, typically the better team, even for all of A&M's struggles, is able to come out on top, because I just think both teams go all out in this game. Just given the nature of it, given the split environment, given the neutral environment, I just think that's what happens here. But this is how I feel. I feel like that Florida game largely felt like a crossroads kind of a game, or a fork in the road for A&M. It's like you're going on the road. How's it going to go? Are you going to perform and play your best football on the road? They did that. And we felt good, and we felt like we had the identity. But then you kind of take a step back, you slow that momentum versus Bowling Green. And now I feel like we're in that Florida game prep again this week. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, because I feel like once again, we have another pivotal game, another pivotal, winnable game in Jerry World. So I once again feel like we're at a game that can swing the season. A manageable game, but a scary game. It's weird how this thing is just going in circles right now. But who is the real A&M? Because 4 games in, do we really know? Because you had the game versus Notre Dame. You bounce back versus McNeese. It's McNeese. You feel good versus Florida. And then you have the A&M that played versus Bowling Green. Will the real A&M please stand up? Who are you, man? Who are you? But guys, let's be honest. Probably a flawed team. And even if it's a super flawed team, it's weird. They actually still have time. Because you have a scary but beatable Arkansas team. You have a Missouri team that has done nothing but struggle against, standard opponents at home. I mean, like, not great opponents in Vandy and Boston College, but decent opponents at home. Took care of business versus the Cupcakes. They look flawed and only at home. And then you have your bye week, and then you have Mississippi State. So it's just like a really weird spot, man. It's like you can still not be perfect, but just clean it up, man. Just clean up some of those errors you put on film. So we're 4 games into the year now. It's almost halfway through. Can you believe it? I feel like we're just getting started, man, but we're already almost halfway through. It's crazy to say it, but I still think they have room to figure things out. Now, obviously, you can't just go play stinky, man. You just can't go be stinky out there. You got to improve week to week, something we saw the first 3 weeks, only for it to stop versus Bowling Green. I think the only area that really improved versus Bowling Green, I think the defensive line played their best game of the year. I think the offensive line took a minute to get going, but then picked up where they left off. Those are the 2 strengths of the team right there. D-line, offensive line right now. Running backs are up there too. I think tight ends are coming along. But you got to get back on that track, man, because that track was going really well. It was better, and then you let up. What do they do this week? We're going to find out. Guys, thanks for being here. That's my start of show rant. Got to do for you guys. Got to get it off my chest, even though I got a bunch off my chest this morning. I was negative Drew this morning. Now I'm Drew the Optimist. Yeah, got to go through it all. It's a call-in show, guys. We're doing calls in just a minute. I don't see anybody in the chat in the waiting room, so if we have no calls tonight, we have no calls tonight. That's all good. I do have some clips prepped. I saw David in there saying you might not want to pull the clips for this game. Oh, I had to be very selective. I didn't want to go too negative on the clip review. I threw some good plays in there. I threw some bad plays in there. I don't want to dog on any specific player too much, especially considering I'm a novice. I'm not an X's and O's genius. I'm very, very rudimentary in that analysis. So we're going to go through some plays that I liked, some plays I didn't like. We're going to do the thing like we did last week versus Florida without the great skyline view, unfortunately, this week. But the call-in link is pinned in the chat. If anybody wants to call in, the topic of the day is just talking how you're feeling now. You've had some time to digest Bowling Green. You got Arkansas about 5 days away. Where are you now a couple days out from that, and how are you feeling? Do you want to rant? Do you want to vent? It's all up to y'all. But for now, let's check in with the chat. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see a Ronnie Barker out there. I see a Jeb out there. Let's start from the top and go through everyone really quick before we get into, if there are any calls, or straight into film work. Either way is good with me. SB Hustler, good to see you, man. A lot will be exposed this week. Absolutely. You got to patch up that back 7 at least to some capacity, because they will make you pay if it's the same as last week. But I will say, and I haven't done it this video, I did it in my initial video, you got to give Bowling Green credit, man. They threw the kitchen sink offensively. They had a game plan. They stuck to it. They largely executed it. They had a few busts down the stretch of the game that, really saved A&M. But they kept the D-line at bay as much as they could, even though the D-line played really well this game. They confused the back 7. They got the back 7 running the wrong way, running sideways, getting confused out there. They did a good job, man. Really veteran team, veteran quarterback, and that tight end, man. Holy cow. What a hoss. Jeb says, let's rant. Get in here, Jeb. I see you in there. I see Bruce and I see Jeb in there. Thanks for calling in, y'all. I'll get to y'all after we get through the chat. J. Brandon Foster has arrived. That is J. Brandon Foster, named J. I know that now, and I will now call you by your God-given name. Thanks for being here, Mr. Foster. J, as they say. Thomas Life, good to see you. David Franz, like I said, recommend against a film review this week. Like I said, we're not going to go into the trenches of it. We're not going to dig super deep because it could get really ugly and annoying. Plus, I hate the broadcast view. You can barely see the receivers in these plays. So we picked a couple of very select plays, maybe 10 plays or so. We'll go through it super fast at the end of the show. Let's see who else is here. Ben, I'm super nervous. I'm more nervous about the health of the players. The O-line looked pretty beat up. Good news is Shanahan should be back. O-line is getting beaten up. But here's the thing that's so admirable about the O-line is doing right now. I've said this line before, and I want to say it again because it feels good coming off the tongue. When over the last 3 years, you could not find a set of 5 players that could get it done, It seems like right now you can't find a set of 5 players that can't get it done, because Adam Cushing is doing a hell of a job with this O-line. They approached it with a flexible attitude. You've heard Elko talk about it time and time again. He mentioned it today. They weren't looking for that cohesive, chemistry-driven 5. They were looking to be flexible. They were looking to sustain blows like this. And that was a consistent dialogue from spring to now. And that is paying dividends, because you've had so many shuffles there. You saw Cam Dewberry play at left and right guard this last game. Had a couple bad moments, but largely, picked up where they left off and did fine. You have a shuffle going on at right tackle. You have a bunch of different tight ends playing. It's good, man. It's really good. Shout out to the running backs, too. They're doing really well in blocking. Run block, pass pro. SB Hustler, Drew strategically having a show on a different day than Josh Pate so I can watch both. I honestly thought he had a show on Monday, and I was kind of bummed about it, but now that I know he doesn't, sweet. I can't compete with Josh. I usually do the rewatch. I don't usually watch him live. That's really good to know. Cool. You're welcome. Han says, we're in danger. I'm reading this in that Simpsons voice. We're in danger. Maybe. Hope not. I think we'll be better this week, but we'll see. We'll see. Jeb's going to start a fight in the parking lot. On brand for Jeb. Shan, good to see you in here. Yeah, I don't feel too confident about Saturday at all. Not going to lie. I understand, man. You're totally within your right and, right to feel that way right now. It was a bad showing, and Arkansas has been looking pretty good. So, scary game, man. I don't know where I'm going to go with the pick right now. I'm up in the air. I'm going to probably make that video tomorrow and drop it tomorrow. My prediction video for that. So, it's tough, man. I think 21 is really missing 45 next to him in the linebacker room. Yeah, because 45 could really go sideline to sideline and mask a lot of 21's deficiencies. And now we're seeing 21 kind of struggle getting sideline to sideline, struggle to get off of blocks at times. Although he's made some good plays on the year, his limitations are showing. Though I will say, I think Scooby and Sanford are starting to play a lot better. York hasn't come around just yet, though. It's a really good point, and something we kind of highlighted in the preseason now we're seeing. Let's see what else is here. Oh, Lash is in here. The Bowling Green sucked rotten eggs. If we continue to play as we did on Saturday, the only games we're likely to win the rest of the way are Mississippi State, New Mexico, and Auburn. We can do better than that. We'll see. No more Jerry World after this year. Yep, it's the last Jerry World. I'll be there. I see Jeb's going to be there. Who else is going to this game? I'm excited. I'm one of the few people that liked the game in Jerry World because I don't ever go to Dallas. This is my excuse to go to Dallas. I go to Six Flags. I eat restaurants. Whatever. It's a fun time for me. But happy to see it go to College Station. And I'm happy to go to Fayetteville. That's on the bucket list of stadiums for me. Got family up there. Makes me hate Arkansas even more. Alex Flo, good to see you in here, man. Oh, man. Who else is in here? John Peroni, Gig 'em Aggies. Gig 'em indeed, sir. Gig 'em indeed. Let's see who else is here. Mike, we want Connor. I understand if you want Connor. I think we'll see Connor again. And I'm not saying this is you, Mike, but the flipping on each quarterback after a single subpar game, it's a bit much for me. You got to let things play out. We jumped off a cliff after Connor's game 1 versus Notre Dame. Dude's been out for a while. Dude's in a new offense. Notre Dame's the best secondary in the country. Hold your horses there. Reed comes in, looks good versus Florida. And I was in agreement. If Reed kept it up or built on that, it'd be hard to keep him off the field. In fact, I would want him to stay on the field. Fact of the matter is, I think he left the door at least cracked versus Bowling Green. And if Connor's back, I think he gets a look right now. But I think Reed will have another chance this weekend to kind of stake his claim. We'll see how things play out. I think we got to approach it flexibly, just as the coaching staff has to. We'll see what happens, man. I think Connor's injury is going to be more of a multi-week thing. That's just my gut feeling based on the injury, based on him being in street clothes. I think it'll be a few weeks till we have the option to see Connor. Bruce trusts Elko. I do too, Bruce. I really do. And I trust him to get the best out of this team this week of practice after that showing. That's what makes me feel really good. Ronnie Barker, howdy, Drew. Tokyo here. I would just like a complete game. You and me both, man. If they do that versus Arkansas, how good are we going to feel, guys? I was just thinking about that. They go out there, they play a full game. Obviously, they won't be mistake-free, but a complete game that we're satisfied in every facet, at least. We feel so good for what's to come. Who else is in here? I liked how pissed off Elko was in his presser. That was refreshing. Absolutely. He was pissed. Not much positives. And today in his presser, it sounded like he was kind of hoarse because I have a feeling he spent that whole film room on Sunday yelling and beside himself, as he probably did post-game. I'm curious to see in the Pulse this week if we actually get the locker room conversation. Because versus Notre Dame, They shut the doors. They didn't let the Pulse camera in for the post-game locker room speech. I have a feeling there's a chance that happens again this week. We'll see. I could be wrong. He's obviously all about this, man. And that's so good to see. Especially, and I hate to read into things and bring things up, but I felt like Jimbo kind of lost that passion the last year that he was here. Really nice to see. It's what you get in a coaching change, especially with an up-and-comer like Elko. Love to see it. Win this game, Bowling Green will be forgotten. Absolutely. And I think Bowling Green is going to end up as a pretty successful MAC team. So that'll be good. Yes, Troy, I'll be there. You're going to be there too? Say what up if you see me. Always welcome to come give me a fist bump or a nice handshake. Say what's up to me if you see me. Although, I won't tell you. I go disguised. I'm just kidding. All right. Don't take the spread. 6.5 or -6. A&M -6 favorites. I think it's dropped down to -3 or -4. I think it's changed. I think the Sharps hammered Arkansas +6 in this game. I don't blame them. I think it's going to be a close game. Florida was a monkey off our back, and they came back home unprepared for a mature Bowling Green team. Yep, sometimes that monkey keeps you focused, and they lost it. They got to find that monkey again, so to speak. Dale says, you've come a long way, Drew, since the beginning when I first started watching your YouTube channel. Great show. By the way, where's the Klein offense we watched and heard much about? Thank you, Dale. I appreciate that. I feel like I have seen your name from the beginning, so thanks for being here in the third year we're doing this, so really appreciate that. Look, I agree that there is more that Klein can and will show, and I'm reserving my judgment until we get into SEC play, where I think they're going to be more apt to throw more stuff out there. I do think that the offense did enough play calling wise. I think receivers got open. I think there was opportunity there. I think the offensive line played well enough. I just think what resulted in 4 red zone field goals was a young quarterback that came back to earth after being on top of the world versus Florida. And that maybe should have been expected. Obviously, you wish you would have obviously converted on one of those field goals, a touchdown, instead of getting, the 4 triples. I think there were plays to be had out there. I think there were receivers open. You talk about that one post play to Noah Thomas that was in the dirt. That was a house call for like a 60-yard touchdown. You talk about the out, or it was a curl on the right side to Noah where Reed throws the ball low and Noah's knee taps the ground. He had one guy to beat for a house call there. There were opportunities out there. There were receivers open. I think Reed learns a lot from this game because I think he still does a lot of good stuff really well. Reed takes care of the ball. His running ability is maybe the offense's best weapon when he's at quarterback right now. I mean, he's led the team in rushing, I think, 2 straight games. I think we reserve judgment on Klein because I think there are still plays there, and I think a lot of the deficiencies we saw offensively were just by way of a quarterback working through things, growing pains. We'll see. We'll definitely see. We're definitely going to put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that. Bowling Green definitely beats Florida. Yes. Does Bowling Green beat Arkansas? Maybe. I don't know. We don't know, though. And Elko, I trust. God bless America. I love that. God bless America. Bless the troops as well. I mean, come on now. I love just throwing some patriotism in there. Love it, Chris. Get after it, man. If we stop Arkansas run, you can stop their offense. Andrew Armstrong has been their only consistent weapon. Isaiah Satania and Luke Hans, is that his name? The tight end? I think those are the three passing weapons that scare me. Satania is dynamic, man. He has been coming on more recently. He's a really good player, too. And Armstrong's been great. Yeah, absolutely. I'm having bacon for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm having bacon-wrapped bacon. I'm having bacon-wrapped sausage. Yeah, lots of bacon this week, Jay. Lots of bacon. O-line struggled Bowling Green because Bowling Green loaded the box and dared us to throw. I don't think the O-line struggled. We'll pull some film up on it. I think when the O-line struggled early in the game after rewatching the game, it was by way of just a few individual busts. It was Fothery, I think, had 2 busts early in the game. Crownover had 1 bust. And Theo Mellon-Ormstrom had a bust on a really, really hard assignment. We're going to look at that play tonight. And I think just 4 individual busts were what made the offensive line look bad in the first quarter. But down the stretch, I thought the O-line played fine, if not good. I thought the protection was good on the night. I thought they were blowing holes open in the second half specifically. They got to 230 yards rushing, and of course a lot of that was by Reed improvising. I didn't feel like the O-line was an issue this game. Outside of the early, there were a few 3-and-outs you could point at, and maybe there's point opportunities there. I'll give you that. I think the O-line handled the game fine. I really do. Chris Cobb, 93-10-2. I love it. God bless America. So happy this game is at 2:30. God, we got a lot of chat. This is the best chat in college football landia. Appreciate you guys. We'll get through this, then we'll get into two. We only have 2 or 3 callers. We'll take our time with the chat. We'll get into that. Then we'll look at the film stuff. This is great. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So happy this game is at 2:30. Yeah, man. I'd much prefer it to 11. How's the health of the O-line? That's my question. They keep going down. I think everyone who went down besides Naboo should be back this week, according to the lingo coming out of Elko and stuff. Shanahan should be back. Basantis came back in the game, played great. I think the O-line will be fine this week. I think we'll be looking at the same unit you had last week. Just players coming in and out, but we should be good. And every sub has looked good, and I'm glad Dewberry got some snaps this game because he needs them. You should pull up some Archie clips Thursday. If I can, I will. It's just going to be about time constraints. O-line is fine. No new injuries from Bowling Green. Shanahan is fine. Elko said, yep, that's exactly right. That's what's what. SB Hustler just said, just want to say I've noticed a few times this year, I'm sick of seeing Noah Thomas on that jet sweep. Stop giving the 6'6 receiver the jet sweep. He can't be the best option for that. A couple things are true. Yes, there are better options there. I want to see an effort to get 1, 2, and 6 the ball on those types of plays more often. I would like to see screens and short plays to them. I also think Noah has gained like 6 yards every time he's gotten an end around, and I've been saying this for 2 years now. I think Noah Thomas, for his size, is sneaky good with the ball in his hand, makes people miss pretty fast. But yes, there are better options there. Mix it up. Everybody can get it. I would like to see more of an effort to get those 3 guys the ball. Bussy, Barber, Allen. Bartman, got to remember, Marcel has played 3 total games in his college career. I expect him to be more poised as he gets more experience under his belt. Impressed with his rushing stats. Thank you for bringing this up, because I would like to point something out about this game in particular. Yes, Marcel has only played in 3 total games. But what this was versus Bowling Green was the first game where the opponent was able to scout Marcel Reed. Because the bowl game, obviously, was Jalen Henderson. Similar skill set, but I think Reed has some more throwing tools than Henderson, just some more innate skills, raw tools. I think they're a little bit different players. But he wasn't scouted during that. Obviously, Florida game, the Connor news didn't come up till Thursday. So it wasn't a full court press on the Reed skill set. This was the first week where Reed was front and center and got the full attention of the team. And obviously they loaded the box, dared us to pass, dared the receivers to get open. And I thought receivers did get open. They just really did get to Reed with that game plan. It worked on Reed, and that was their goal. Though Reed was still decent in the game, he wasn't abysmal. It worked. But this was his first game being the sole emphasis of an offensive scouting report, which was interesting. Little Shy in the house. Good to see you, man. I think this season's going to be full of growing pains. Sure. And as we just mentioned before you came in here, I think there are teams you can still beat with growing pains. Of course, you could lose to them too. I'm not saying you're going to win every game, but I don't see juggernauts until the last game on the schedule. LSU's pretty good. South Carolina's better than expected. Juggernaut? No. Yeah. You have time and you have opportunity to get better. I also really love the game at Jerry World. Sad to see it end. Yeah, me too, Jeb. Me too. I believe they'll be more motivated to play Arky than last week, 100%. Into SEC play, Jerry World, Cowboy Stadium. They're going to lean on all that stuff, and Elko's going to gun them. Ronnie says, would like to see more Barber and Cyrus. Not too hyped on Noah this year. I would like to see them too. I thought Noah played a great game. I thought Noah was consistently open. He was missed a few times. Yeah, I thought Noah played maybe his best game of the year. I mean, definitely. I thought he was open all the time. Great route running, especially for his size. Really good. I'm calling it. We beat Mizzou. Let's go, Troy. I'm with you. Alex Flo says, do you think we'll have another neutral site game next season? I don't think so. I think Jerry was kind of the last hope there. Noah's body language on Saturday wasn't great. Curious what's going on there. I think he's just frustrated, man. He hasn't really gotten it going this year, and he's been healthy, and he's back onto it. I did notice, I watched the full Skycam view of the Florida game. He's a leader on the team. He's a vocal leader. He's hyping guys up. He's picking guys up. But yeah, I think he's getting frustrated with, his lack of productivity because I think he's been getting open. I think he had opportunities in the Notre Dame game too where he wasn't targeted. So I think he's doing his work and not getting rewarded for it. I would like to see better body language too. He needs to get involved more. Yeah, I understand the frustration if I'm Noah, but yeah, show better for sure. If we can beat Mizzou, then I'll start feeling better. I'll be happy with Arkansas, man. But yeah, we'll feel great after that. Oh, who else? Centennial's playing better. Yeah, he is. Good to see you in here, Gary. No worries that you're late. We're just going through the chat. We have 2 callers waiting. Then we're going to get into a couple of film pieces. That'll be the night. Their offense didn't look good against Auburn. Yeah, they benched Taylon Green for a while. Bowling Green beats Notre Dame. Northern Illinois beats Notre Dame. Pittman said they're very familiar with Marcel in his presser today. Said they tried to recruit him. Need a statement game out of 10 in the boys. We do need that. That'd be so... Oh, a statement win. A nice 2-score win. Feel good. I need it. Lando says receiver play needs to step up. I think they were pretty good versus Bowling Green. I think the quarterback didn't find them. They could be better. I think you need to get 1, 2, and 6 more involved. O-line give Reed all day to throw, and at times he didn't play like it, but they gave him a ton of time. Running backs are blocking well. They're handling stunts better than they have in 3 years. Absolutely. Even though Noah isn't bad at the jet sweep, they definitely need to give it to other guys instead. Yeah, I don't see why they can't get it too. They should be getting it, I think. I think those guys need to be involved in the offense more. They need to force the issue with the 1, 2, and 6. Everyone's stacking the box on us. Got to find a passing game, 100%. Holiday Inn better not run out of bacon this week. Just hopped off a tower in Louisiana and tuned in. Yes, sir. Get after that all-you-can-eat bacon. Clear him out. Clear him out, Adam. Good to see you, man. Marcel seems very poised. I just think he's trying not to make a mistake. Yes. So doesn't always cut it loose. Still very raw. Yes, and we heard in a presser that his father instilled taking care of the ball into him as a point of emphasis from a young age. It's something he hangs his hat on. And I like that. He doesn't get you in bad positions. Maybe you're missing on some stuff, but that's something to build on, right? That's something you can build with. Not making those mistakes. Let's just add to it. Let's get it better. A little bit more courageous. A little bit more anticipatory balls. Trust your receivers. Trust your O-line. He's going to work through it. And like I said, I think he's the quarterback this week. I just don't think Connor's there yet. I think Connor's like a couple of weeks out. That was Noah's best game so far. Yeah, he was always open, man. He did great. I think Reed looks very confident for a freshman. He does. I like his body language. I like his poise. I think he plays a little unsettled and rushed in plays sometimes when he doesn't need to. I think that's by way of a defense kind of playing against his strengths, though, and I think he'll learn from this performance. I want the juice back, except for the D-line. Team overall felt slower than the Florida game. Yeah, I would agree with that. Passing game needs to come along 100%. When will they add the white helmets to CFB 25? That's going to come out either by way of a $10 add-on or just buy the next game. Probably just buy the next game. CFB 26, just buy the next one. Auburn put all kinds of pressure on Arky. Hopefully our defense steps up the pressure. Nice. I know Arkansas has an improved O-line, but how are they going to hold up against this D-line? We'll see. We'll find out. We will run for 300 yards against Arky, and the O-line will open up holes for us to win. I hope so. Offense needs to establish a passing game 100%. Defense needs to tighten up coverage and not be fly paper. Yeah. All right, guys. Let's get into the calls. Starting with Bruce. Bruce, you're on with Drew. How you feeling tonight, my friend? Uh-oh, Bruce, do I have you? Bruce, you with me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you now. What's going on, Bruce?
Sorry, brother.
No problem, man. No problem.
I'm good, man. How you doing?
You know, I'm doing better, man. Getting distance from the game and just kind of digesting it and thinking about what's on the table the next couple of weeks. Team can improve. It wasn't all bad. You didn't lose the game. I'm kind of coming to terms with it at this point. How about yourself?
Well, I was kind of always feeling that way. I'll tell you the truth.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to be some honey for you.
Okay.
I mean, this is a Bowling Green team that almost beat Penn State, and I know a lot of people want to say, Penn State is overrated always, but I mean, Penn State's a good team, and I mean, I didn't watch the Bowling Green game against Penn State, but it was obviously a nail biter.
Yes.
And I think Penn State beat them by 6, same as us.
Yeah, it was a touchdown win. Yep. They Bowling Green jumped Penn State early in the game with their passing game. They were just passing the ball on them consistently. They went up 17-7. Penn State kind of came back in the second half, but then Bowling Green never went away, and Penn State escaped. Yep.
Right. So, I mean, people talk about, oh, you can't take Bowling Green lightly, and people say that, but they still, I think in the back of their head, they still say, oh, but it's just Bowling Green. Well, Bowling Green can play. They got guys that want to win just like A&M does. And they've already proved it once against Penn State, and then they had 2 weeks to prepare for A&M. And I think, um, I think the Aggies did not play their A game, but I think a lot of that, just like the Notre Dame game, just like you've been saying, I think Marcel Reed, if he's a little sharper, we got a lot more points on the board. Missed Noah on the touchdown pass. He missed, I think it was Amari.
Yes.
On
the wheel route. Yep.
Yeah, on the wheel route, and then he missed somebody else. I can't remember, but he just wasn't. He wasn't as maybe as sharp as the Florida game, which it's his third game, like you said. I mean that can be expected. I think the main thing to take out of that game, they hit us on two big plays. So it's the big play. But the one big play was just a busted coverage by Will Lee. I don't know what the hell they were doing, but like you said in your other video, he and was it Sanford?
I think it was Sanford, and they both went to the flat guy. No one got the deep.
And they were like a yard away from each other.
Yeah.
And their tight end is just wide open, and that was bad. But then on the reverse, man, that the defense was so good on that play. If it's not a reverse,
right?
They got really good pressure. They were fighting up the field, and then boom, it was the perfect play call.
It was a great play call.
It was just awesome, and sometimes you got to tip your hat. As far as what happened in the game, so you give them those two plays, the game is close. What happened in the fourth quarter? The Aggies tightened up. They got that punt block, and they gave up no points from it. They stood their ground. They fought. They went back. They took the ball on offense, went down the field, kicked another one or two field goals, and held on for the win. If that's Jimbo, I don't know that happens.
Yeah.
So basically from that game, you get a close game that you win, which is always good. Like, I would rather my team go through what they went through Saturday than just win, 52-10. Just because there's so many more lessons to be learned, and you went through that fourth quarter of having to make plays and having to be clutch, and they did that. And I think that's just a much better lesson than just, kicking the crap out of another team that you're supposed to kick the crap out of. And I don't think we were supposed to kick the crap out of them. I think Bowling Green is really good.
Okay.
Now, I mean,
yeah,
you know what I mean by really good MAC team.
Yeah, they're a good MAC team. They could win 9 games this year for sure with a MAC schedule. So a few thoughts. I mean, I agree. Sorry. I agree. No worries. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. There are some things I do disagree with that I'll push back on, though. I mean, I'm taking a 52-10 win, obviously, over a good team. That shows you that your team is able to handle business after feeling good the week before, and you respond to it, versus a team that they obviously felt like they were going to beat, and that got them bit in the butt, I think. I think they felt like they were going to be able to handle this team. I don't agree that the defense handled business great in the fourth quarter, man. That last sustained drive they went on, they had 3 touchdown opportunities on that last drive that they didn't execute on. They had a jailbreak play where Javen Thomas and Dalton Brooks both cheated down on their superstar tight end. They were finally keying in on him, credit there, but they let leakage get behind them. Quarterback throws a bad ball behind him. That was a touchdown they didn't execute on. Then they drive down the field. They're able to stay on the field. And then they throw the ball over the tight end who's wide open at the goal line. A&M intercepts it. And, they aren't even able to seal it off of that. They fumble the ball, which I don't really have an issue with Moss. I mean, I think he'll be fine. Unfortunate that it happened. Also, on that, stop where they forced the missed field goal, which was a great defensive stop for 2 plays. That one play that was a running back pass, that was also a touchdown for them. The running back just couldn't make the pass. And, of course, a running back's not going to make that pass every time. Another great play design by them. I thought that was an opportunity that they had as well. I felt like the back seven was the aspect of the team I look at and feel like I'm not confident necessarily based on that performance going forward, because I felt like they left a lot on the table, especially down the stretch, late in the clutch of the game, just like they kind of did versus Florida, where they kind of let Florida back in. So that's the area of anxiety I kind of leave the game with, because they did that same thing where they didn't necessarily finish strong 2 weeks in a row. But I'll give you that reps in that kind of a game can be beneficial to a team. Those can be invaluable, unreplicable types of football experience that you got in a win. And that's why I say I think the coaches feel good about the green light and the fuel they have to coach these guys even harder this week. So you're right in that regard. It could become a positive, but they have to do it, and those deficiencies cannot be persistent.
Right. Yeah, I had forgotten about those. I had forgotten about that, especially like the interception that we got in the end zone. That dude was wide open.
Yeah. They missed a couple plays down there. Also, they had the catch in the corner of the end zone where the receiver comes down with it, but he drops the ball. So that was a third one there that they could have had. And credit to Sanford. He was in position to make a play there.
I mean, that was – I thought Sanford did a great job.
He did a great job.
I'm not sure if he catches that, if he got a foot down either. I thought he came down out of bounds. It would have been interesting to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely close call too.
Yeah.
But 52-10 would be nice, like if they're really that good. But if they're not, then I'd rather them go through some hard times at the end of a game and win the game than lose the game, obviously. And I'd rather them do that than win by 2 touchdowns and not be able to learn anything from it.
Yeah. See, I'm greedy. I would have wanted both. I would have wanted a close game, and then A&M pulls ahead at the end. You go through the lumps, and you finish really, really strong. But I hear you there, man. You went through this. It's on tape. Yeah. You can improve off of it. That's for sure.
And I mean, when you look at who we're about to play Arkansas. They scored 24 on Auburn, and I mean, right now, I think Bowling Green might be better than Auburn. Auburn sucks.
They got no
quarterback. They are terrible. And Missouri just went to overtime with Vanderbilt, and I know Vanderbilt looks really good this year. They're doing well, but they're Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So all the people that are so upset about this A&M game, everybody goes through their own headaches. Georgia, I mean, my God, Georgia scored 13 against Kentucky.
Yeah.
And barely beat them.
Yep.
So everybody goes through this, and it's, do you have the coach that will get the most out of them and get the most, will learn the most about his team and get those things fixed. And I think Elko is the dude to do it. And I think Klein, the people that are complaining about Klein, I think, like you said, guys are running wide open. You got a quarterback that's been, that has played 3 games.
Yeah.
So I don't think we know enough to start yelling about Klein's offense. I think Klein is really good, and I think he'll show that.
Yeah, we got to give him a chance. We got to let him get into SEC play. Let this thing keep building. They're installing as they go. They're working through a new quarterback, a sudden change at the quarterback position. Lots to go through. But all right, Bruce, I appreciate the call, man. You have a great night.
Thanks,
Hope
bud.
to hear back from you soon. Later.
All right, thanks.
All right, good stuff from Bruce there. And one more thing on Auburn. Yeah, I think they have 14 turnovers on the year so far. Arkansas beat them by way of 5 Auburn turnovers. So that's there. Chew on that. Think about that. I don't know what it means. Maybe you do. All right, next caller. Jay, you're on with Drew, man. Good to hear from you. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Glad to see you call in, man. I'm sorry I got the name wrong initially. Now I know it. We're good now.
That's literally an everyday thing in my world. So my username in the chat. So,
I gotcha.
hey, I made a couple of notes real quick, and I want to start by just saying, man, I think that Aggies everywhere are expecting us to play like we're in our fourth year under a new head coach, and we're not. We're in a first year, and we're still trying to find our identity. I think that the battered Aggie syndrome is alive and well. I think that we're seeing a lot of people that are expecting us to pick up exactly where Jimbo left off, and we're seeing exactly where we are right now with a new head coach and a new offensive and defensive staff.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that, man. I think the cliff jumping after an imperfect game, I think we should expect lumps. It's a new staff. It's a new year. You're right. You're definitely right. And I think you said it perfectly there. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, and with that being said, I know I mentioned in the chat, but like it really was good to see Mike Elko not blame anybody other than himself, be really pissed off about the way that we played, and not be satisfied with this. That was very refreshing to see. It was
100%.
A lot less of the Jimbo. I don't even want to say the E word that everybody gets so mad about, but it was a lot less of that and a lot more of we're going to get better. We're going to continue to grind and get better every week. We got out of there with a win.
Yeah. I trust the guy. I love his mindset. I love his attitude. I love his detail-oriented approach. And that's why I feel like leaving that game the way it happened, getting the win, I mean, it could end up being a blessing. It really could. There's a chance it is. There's a chance that's a springboard. There's a chance it's the best possible learning experience that could have happened. And it's going to come down to this week of practice and how you play next week. It's always about the next game. We show that didn't work out after Florida. Now you have this evidence of how it works out after you kind of get fat and happy with yourself, maybe. I mean, I'm kind of speculating there. But this is where you need to take that next step because you see what can happen. And I think Elko's the guy to get it done. 100% agree.
Yep. My next note is man, I think we've got to get more pressure on the quarterback. We got to get more pressure on the quarterback. You mentioned it earlier to open up and make things a little bit easier for our back seven. I think we're going to need to put some more pressure on the quarterback, design blitzes, some other things along those lines, because when they've got enough time to throw the ball, like we saw last year, they're starting to pick the back seven apart.
Yeah. I think the D-line has been taking steps every game. I feel like they have been the one aspect of the team that has improved game to game to game for 4 games in a row. I'm really happy with where they're at. But you're right. They need to take that next step and become that elite defensive line that we know they can become. There are 3 at least NFL players in that starting 4, maybe more in that rotation. There's another level to them, and we definitely need to see it. I am somewhat happy with the blitzes and the defensive blitz packages we've been throwing out there, but I think it's coming more down to just more consistently winning your matchup, and I think they're on the right path, but it's got to happen.
Yeah, I think with some more disruption and some more rushes on the quarterback, we're going to see some more turnovers in the secondary. The secondary is talented.
They really are.
But they're just they're still a little young, and they're still a little, like I mentioned earlier, being in the first year of a new system, it's they need a little help there.
Yeah, and some of those guys like Marcus Radcliffe is taking a colossal jump in competition. He was San Diego State's maybe best defensive player as a true freshman, and now he's playing at Texas A&M in the SEC, being asked to do it game in and game out at this level of play. Guys like that are going to come into their own. Guys like Des Ricks, who's really on his 4th game of college football. Will Lee also taking a jump in competition. They're working through a lot, but I'll say this. I feel so much differently about this secondary right now than I did this time a year ago, where I felt like you just didn't have the Jimmies and Joes last year. You really have the guys this year to make it happen. Now, we need to see improvement in certain areas from certain guys, but the talent's not an issue, I don't think. I just think it's putting it together and playing a consistent game. Elko harps on consistency. That's such a buzzword, but that is such a rule of life. Like, everything you do, you have to have consistency. I mean, it's true. It's so easy to say it, but it's true. You got to be consistent, man, and that's what we're not seeing necessarily across the board.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. I got 2 more things, too. I know that this is such a hot topic right now. Abandoning Connor, abandoning Marcel, all that stuff. I think right now where we stand and where we are with the development of this team, Marcel's running the offense a little bit better, specifically because of how dangerous he is when the back seven of our opponents turn their back to him and the receivers are covered, who have got a tough time getting separation to begin with. He takes off with the ball, and he can make things happen with his feet that I just don't think that Connor can make happen. On the flip side to that, I think that Connor is a much more true passer at this point in time. If he can stay healthy, I mean, the evidence is there as far as the first 2 games for Marcel, not turning over the ball, being able to scramble with his feet. But with that comes him having some happy feet when he needs to remain in the pocket and be a true passer. So I think that right now, after the 2 games that I've seen Marcel play, I'm on he's running the offense better, especially because he's so much more dangerous as a weapon running the ball. But, I would be completely fine with Connor coming back and taking over the team as well.
Yeah, I like that approach. I think it's important, to have the mindset to remain flexible here, because I think that's what the coaches are doing. I don't think Reed has 100% solidified himself. He's shown some good stuff, some good signs. And like you said, it'd be a different thing if these receivers were kind of game changers right now. Maybe you would want a quarterback that can get the ball in their hands more effectively. We don't really have that right now. But on the other side of that token, maybe Connor's the guy that can unlock some of that. It's a true dilemma, and I just think the coaching staff's going to remain flexible. I think Reed gets Arkansas. I think you still approach it with an open mind. If Reed really goes out there and builds on what he's been doing, I think he further solidifies himself. If not, you still see, a lot of working through things and, getting happy feet, not progressing through reads at times. I think you give Connor another chance, because I think there's still a lot we haven't seen from Connor this year, because I just think in the Notre Dame game, I think that was such a tough situation for him. I think he does deserve another chance if Reed is not solidified as the guy by then.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. The last thing I'll say, then you can drop me off, is man, the Bowling Green team, I don't ever bet on A&M because I don't like to lose twice.
Yeah.
But if I was going to bet on A&M this last week, I would have taken Bowling Green to cover. 22 points was a lot. That was a really big spread. And that team reminded me of some of those old BYU teams. And I mean old in age and I don't know exactly what the stat was, but I believe that like 18 players on that Bowling Green team had been playing together since their freshman year. So, I mean, with that comes experience, with that comes discipline. And I knew it was going to be a little bit more of a fight than what we gave them credit for. And they sure did come out and show it to us. And I'm just glad we got away with the win.
100%, man. Kind of like App State. That was another veteran team, a bunch of graduate students, seniors that had been playing together for years. This was a veteran team with some big bodies and a veteran quarterback, a superstar tight end, and a great game plan and coaching staff. They were a well-coached team. They're going to be a good team on the year, and we survived them. So, all right, Jay, man, I really appreciate the call. That was some good stuff, man. I hope you'll call back in the future. You have a great night, my friend.
Will do. Thanks, brother.
Later. All right, great stuff from Jay, man. Let's catch up with the chat real quick, then we'll get into Theo and Noble Guy. Great call from Jay. All right. Always beating UF is good, but they simply aren't a good team. Are we talking about you're talking about beating Florida, who's not good. The passes we completed were wide open receivers. Tight window plays have eluded us so far this season. Yes, and I've noticed, well, you got one in the first drive of the game to Theo Mellon-Orstrom, the Swede, Thor, Rhino. Yeah, that was a good one. But I've noticed that Reed doesn't really throw those tight window balls too often. I think he's very much on the spectrum of, mistake prone, not mistake prone, or almost mistake averse, just afraid to take chances. I think he's way over here. I think he can kind of scale it up a little bit. Throws, like I've been using this word, anticipatory balls, where you throw the ball before the receiver's open, kind of some of those curl routes, some of the outs, a little bit better timing, more willing to throw some of those. I think there are options there in the game. Yeah, I think he needs to do that. Let's see who else is in here. Talking it, chopping it up. I see us comparisons to Georgia. I don't know what's going on in here. I love it, though. At least Elko doesn't sound like a used car salesman during his press conferences. See, I'm more along the lines of an auctioneer, but used car salesman works too. Yeah, he's authentic. You can tell he wants to turn the program around, and he ain't just in it for the bread. Yeah, man, he's so real. Defense is overworked. The offense needs to score more. Absolutely, they do. They do. 100%. Too many 3-and-outs this game and not capitalizing in the red zone. Young quarterback working through things. Early offensive line struggles. That's what did it for me. But I think the O-line cleaned it up after the first quarter. Oh, let's see who else is in here. DVS Xavier. Appreciate you being here, man. You're on the Connor team. I respect it. We have guys in the secondary, but our D-line was way better last year, in my opinion. Not saying the D-line isn't good right now. I think this D-line still has a chance to be really good. I thought they were really good versus Bowling Green. I was very satisfied with their performance, to be honest with you guys. They stuffed the run. One of the things I called for, Bowling Green ran for 120 yards versus Penn State. I thought A&M could have done better. A&M did do better. They held them under 110 yards rushing. D-line played really well. 2 sacks on the game, like 8 tackles for losses, something like that. I mean, it's pretty damn good against a big veteran offensive line. I know it's a MAC school, but still, I felt the progression with the D-line this game. Marcel did miss throws for sure. When have we seen it from Connor Wigman, though? His 2022 season when he had kid gloves on or in garbage time versus Miami. Look, man, when you see the skill set and it's there, you build off of it. It's not about seeing the complete package in college. It's about knowing what you have to work with and molding it into the player you can be. This is college. I think it's normal. I think there's a chance that you can really make that something special. That's why players are rated as such coming out of high school. That's why players, build buzz about themselves. That's what this is all about. Yeah, he's not a finished product, but how are you going to find out? Bowling Green used to be good. Yep. Play to win. What's up, Play to win? Good to see you, man. Glad you could make it. Marcel is not one read only. He found the right reads. He just needs to throw an accurate ball. There were times he was one read only, especially under pressure. I mean, he kind of locks in on the route he trusts, not always the check down, but the route he wants to go to. He's definitely showed some one read situations. Not always, but he's shown that. Do you think Coach Wiggins makes it to year 2? I'm not even there yet. Yes. Right now, yes. The D-line was dominant against Bowling Green. Yeah. Remember when we had good offense but poor defense under the Sumlin? Look, I don't even know what to call us yet, man. That's kind of where we're at. That's why I think this Arkansas game is just like the Florida game again. It's like, who are you? I'm going to have to play that song again for the pre-show on Thursday. Not a fan of Wiggins. Guys, it's early. All right, guys. Next caller. Theo, you're on with Drew. How's it going, man?
It's going, sir. How are you?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. How you feeling about the game a couple days out? How you feeling about the team? Where's your head at?
I think we have our identity. I just don't think our fan base wants that identity anymore.
The running game?
It's the running game. It's 2020, 2019 all over again when we rode Travion Williams all that way for over 2,000 yards rushing. It's the same.
Yeah, 2018 was Travion Williams to 1,500 to something yards rushing. 2020 was Spiller and the Maroon Goons. Skewed stats that year because of the COVID year. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a running team. You just can't be one-dimensional, though, and we're trying to see that next level of the passing game get unlocked. But you're right. It absolutely has the run-first identity, and that was kind of always going to be the case, and they've shown that. They've been pretty good at it.
Yep, and that's what it is. And everyone looks at what's going on around us, and we see, Sark, we see Lane Kiffin, we see High Paul, and we see these high-flying passing offenses. But there's more than one way to skin the cat. And Elko has just chosen to be more of a going back to being a grinded-out power run type of coach. And with Klein, we know he has a lot more in his bag, but we also notice that there's things that our offense isn't executing, and everybody hates that word, but not performing, I guess I could say, that are simple reads and items in Klein's offense that they're not performing at a proficient level. So he's not comfortable unlocking the other levels. And that's just going to come with time. The more that Reed gets used to this offense, the more the offensive line gets used to this offense, the more the wide receivers get used to this offense. It's going to come. It's going to unlock. And it's going to be everything we thought it was. But as it is, we're averaging almost 400 yards of offense. Could you imagine that last year under Jimbo? Or the last 2 years of Jimbo?
Yeah. Yeah, man, I think you're right. I think it does have the identity in the sense that it knows what it wants to be. It's just still working through it and finding that consistency in the execution. I just said consistency and execution. Cancel me. Anyway, total coach speak right there. Anyway,
I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah. Your identity is not set though until you have your full wealth of weapons, because you can't be one dimensional. You can't have a lackluster, read that just kind of
But
that
here's my question.
kind of limits you in a certain capacity. You can't just be a one-dimensional team. You have to find it all. It all has to come together for us to feel like you have that identity and it's flourishing.
That's the thing, is we're going to have to deal with the inconsistencies of a young freshman redshirt
Yes.
quarterback developing. And that means he's going to miss the throws. He's going to miss the reads. And that means the reads are going to be there, and we throw it on film so teams know it's there. But until Marcel makes that play, there's nothing we can do about it.
100%. Now let me ask you this and the chat this. Do you think they can find enough by the time the season is still alive? Do you think they can find it basically over these next 2 weeks?
What we're doing.
Yeah.
If it's not broke, don't. Well, here's my.
I'm not saying changing anything. I'm just saying, can you find consistency in your execution over the next 2 weeks?
I'm not saying you are, but I'm talking about overall our fan bases.
Yeah.
Our fan base is thinking that this passing offense is broken. It's
not
broken. It's just missing the throws. It's just missing the reads. It's missing the routes. They're there.
Yeah.
Tonight you point out 4 different ones that were easy touchdowns if he had seen it or thrown it correctly.
Yes.
So it's just he has to grow. He has to develop. This team has to grow. This team has to develop. And
100%.
for as much as we have in elder classmen, most of this team is juniors.
Yep.
We're still relatively young in key spots that are kind of growing.
Well, we're young in those spots, but we're also just new as a program under a whole new system of ideologies. We're a year one program. I mean, that's
right.
That makes you young. That makes you inexperienced in a certain way. And you're working through that. And you are young at quarterback specifically right now. And like I've been saying, I want to hammer this in. I do not think Reed was terrible in the game. No. I don't think he was terrible by any means. He just clearly missed a couple of key plays that could have made this game a totally different game. He still played well enough to win the game, but there was stuff on the table that a more experienced quarterback can find, and I think he can find after seeing the film on what he did wrong in that game.
And I read like Bruce said, I'd rather have a game like this where we are tested all the way through and we win than have an App State where we're tested all the way through and we look so ugly and lose.
Oh, I know. Thank goodness we won, man. Oh.
And then to add to that, Bowling Green is a good program. They've always consistently been good. They've consistently been an 8 to 10 win team in the MAC. And when you have that type of consistency and you have that type of expectations, they don't care about coming to Kyle Field. They just went to Happy Valley.
Yeah.
They played Minnesota in the bowl game. They played Georgia Tech and beat Georgia Tech. They're not worried about coming down and playing A&M because they've already played an A&M team before.
Yep.
In some way, shape, or form. So, I think people see the conference affiliation and forget exactly how good Bowling Green is.
For sure.
And how they continuously compete for MAC championships. And we're going to look at the end of the year, and they're going to be sitting there 9-3, 10-2, probably playing in Detroit at the MAC championship game.
I think so.
And we're sitting here complaining about it, but then we're not realizing that this is the type of stuff that needs to happen for this team to grow.
And having said all of that, this team was a few plays away from this game being like a 34-13 kind of a game. It was a few broken plays that really got them in the end zone. They did have some frustrating sustained drives, especially late in the game. But if you don't bust on that coverage, and if you capitalize once or twice in the red zone, this could have been a blowout. You were right there. You just didn't. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I set it up.
You just didn't perform.
You didn't find the centimeters. I set that up, but I couldn't finish it. But seriously, though. Seriously.
That's what it is.
Yeah. But we won the game. We won the freaking game. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you there. Did I scare you, Theo? We won the freaking game, man. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good.
That's all that matters, is that you get the W at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
It can be a 1-point win. It can be a 10-point win. It could be a 50-point win. No one's going to care at the end of the season when all things are said and done, and we're talking in the spring.
Yeah.
No, we're going to talk about how we're a 10-win team or a 9-win team or 8-win team. We're not going to care how it was done.
Yep. What matters is you grow from each game, man. And let me ask you this. You're a former coach, kind of a modern coach based on how much film work you do still. But what is this week of practice like after a win like that? After a win that could have gone either way, kind of ugly in your own house. Some players didn't play up to their standard, I would say, in the secondary specifically. I had issues there. What is a week of practice like after a game like that?
Oh, it's nasty. Yeah. It's everyone's on pins and needles. No, I don't want to say pins and needles like they're afraid something's wrong, but like they got a nasty taste in their mouth. And they are just salivating at doing anything they can to get that taste out of their mouth.
I know I want to see the next game like right now. I wish Arkansas was right now. I wish I was out there face to face with a pig just right this second, man. I want that. I want to flush it. I want to be done. I'm sure the team feels the same way.
They do, but they also need to learn from it.
Yeah. And they got to harness it. They got to harness the feeling.
Yes. That's what this week is going to be about in practice, is harnessing the feeling of we won, but we cannot look like that ever again.
Yeah.
Type of feeling.
Yes.
And carry that on. And it's nasty because I'm pretty sure there's like 3 or 4 fights going on in practice this week. I guarantee there's at least 2 fights will break out. It's a very fiery week because the defense feels like they didn't play well. The offense is probably feeling like they didn't play well. And so they're going to have something to prove against each other all week. And then it's going to get into Arkansas. And that first half, if we come out slow and dead, I'm going to be shocked. If we don't put up 17 to 21 points in that first half, I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah.
I really am, because I think they're going to want to come out. They're going to want to come make a point in a movement, and they're going to come trying to lay the hammer. The thing is can they do that while being under control?
100%. You can't overdo it. Now I agree. And that's to be one of my keys to the game is I think it's very likely it happens. I'm still going to make it a key that you must start fast, because coming off that performance, you need to show that means something to you, first of all. Second of all, it's kind of like a pseudo rivalry. I would say it's a rivalry at this point based on how much we've played and how the games have gone and it being neutral site.
It's every bit the rivalry.
And it's at an NFL stadium, and for some players, that means a lot. It's something different. It's something cool for them. And I feel like this game usually brings at least the best energy out of each team, and I think that's maybe why it's always pretty close. Kind of makes the teams come in the middle. Maybe A&M's a little bit worked up and plays down a little bit, but also plays really hard in this game, plays a little sloppy at times in this game. But Arkansas also plays really hard in this game too, even with the talent discrepancy. That's why it's always close in my opinion. So starting fast is key, man. You can't start slow in a game like this. It'd be a bad sign.
They have to start fast this week, and it'll show that they can control their emotions while still feeling this sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I mean, that's everything you want from your football team, is you want to find a way to get them into a mode where they're always constantly in a sense of urgency in everything they do. But that urgency doesn't create mistakes. That urgency is the motivation, not necessarily the cause. You know what I mean?
100%. And that, I think, has been an issue in these games at times. I think it's caused mistakes in this game in particular. I think it's made weird stuff happen in this game. But anyway, Theo, that was a great call, man. I'm going to have to move on to the next guy. I appreciate it, and I hope to hear back from you soon, sir.
Oh, you know it. Hey, guys, hit the likes and subscribe, please. He needs to get this up.
Thanks, Theo. I could make a joke right now. I'm not going to do it. What did you mean by clip that? Which clip were you talking about, recruiting expert? I'm curious. Were you talking about the inches, or were you talking about the whatever the hell I did? Let's see what else you guys are. I'm just going to get into the next caller. The chat kind of going off right now. I can't even get in there. Oh, man. Yeah, we're not. Mississippi State is just so bad this year. It's kind of sad. I hate to see it for them because, unfortunately, what triggered it is the passing of an absolute legend in Mike Leach. Hate to see it for Mississippi State. I honestly hate it. But lost 22 starters. Haven't really attracted in the portal during the transfer over or during the transition. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. Bussy loves AT&T Stadium. Big Bussy game incoming. Good point, Ronnie Barker. I love it. I love it. All right. Noble guy, you're on with Drew. How are you feeling? Are you in panic mode, Noble?
What's up, Drew? What's up, crew? Not panic. I think this moment is too strong of a word.
Yeah.
Just concern, maybe. Because I think up until last week, we've seen growth week over week over week in some form or fashion. Even the McNeese State, even though it didn't tell us a whole lot, it was just it was good to have a get right game and just be able to, pardon the phrase, execute.
They played pretty much a perfect game for a half, and that's actually what you called for going into that game. Oh, and by the way, I don't think I've talked to you. Have I talked to you about this? Noble,
What?
the guy on the call right now, is on the Hall of Fame. This is written in Sharpie. He got the score right for the McNeese game. So he's immortalized on this show. It will be showcased at least every Thursday, but sometimes on Monday. You called for a perfect game. We got a half of perfect game until the backups went in. You scored on every possession in the first half. We just have to stop and address this because good job. Sorry to stop your mojo.
Hey, not about last week. It's about next week.
That's right. It's about next week. And you were talking about week-on-week improvement. We saw it from Notre Dame to McNeese, from McNeese to Florida, and then this week we didn't. And then we're talking about kind of where you're at now from there.
Yeah, I think the fan base there's a lot of consternation amongst everyone because it's the team is tempered we don't have a young team. We have a lot of juniors, seniors, and we look like a loaded team on paper. But that's tempered by the fact we have a first-year head coach.
Yes.
And so it's a little bit it's definitely a difficult thing to grasp. Like A&M is such a unique job compared to every other college football new opening this last year or any year really, because who expects anyone to compete, like to go, at best case scenario, like we still have 11-1 on the table, probably 10-2, that sort of thing, but no one expects to go even like double digits in the first year, whereas I feel like a lot of A&M fan base has that expectation and a high degree of hope in that.
Yeah.
And then as far as wanting to meet goals, I guess a lot of it is like, what are the goals for the team? And that's, again, the fan base is divided on what, are achievable goals. I think if you want to get realistically double-digit wins, I think part of the reason why fans are upset, I'll just say upset, because it looks like where you can see, like, just down the road what kind of attack the good teams have. And A&M right now is like we're a one-trick pony. We play solid defense. I can't say we're great elite defense. I haven't seen the whole. I'm trying to think. Maybe Florida. No, secondary got exposed. Have we seen a complete defensive performance this season yet?
No, because at Florida you played a complete half, but in the second half you gave up a lot defensively. You gave up a drive right out of the half. You gave up stuff late in the game. And then we just saw Bowling Green. You held them to 20, but just sloppy stuff in the back seven.
Barely.
It could have been worse. Yeah, they could have scored 27 on us, and we could have lost the game. But no, we haven't seen a complete defensive game. And I'll say there are positive pieces, but it's never been put together.
Yeah, and then we can, find the inches. I'm just, the phrases. But we can't. because the phrase is like, you are what your game film says you are. And right now we're a team that is good, not great, but we're right on the border of average to good, which is I think a lot of A&M fans were trying to shake. I understand that we were bad for the last couple of years. Kind of wanted to skip past the 8-4s and go straight to 9-3 and 10-2.
Yeah.
Especially with LSU looking shaky as they are. And that's the crazy thing is, like, I think we're just looking to take a jump in tiers right now.
Yeah.
And it may just be some growing pains along the way. And then as far as the identity of the team goes, I think I really hope this is the case where, like, we're just still we're holding back a prolific passing attack. I kind of doubt it, because I remember we used the same, like, colloquialisms when Jimbo was like, "Oh, we're
I know.
first.
Yeah.
We need to." I'm like, we're gonna eventually need to, and I still have not seen a 2-minute draw out of this team yet, and that's concerning to me.
I'll say this, though. I think we feel differently if Reed connects on some plays in that game. I think we just feel differently about the passing game. I think he gets well over 220 yards. I think he has another passing touchdown. I think he scored in the 30s. I think this game, I hate to say it, there were plays there. There were plays there in the passing game. And I'll also add this to that, seeing maybe stuff down the road. I made this point last week. Through the first 3 games of the year, A&M had only ran 12 play actions. Colin Klein loves play action, especially considering he's a run-first coach. Yeah. In this last game, 10 play actions, 10 for 7 passing on those plays for 97 yards. 2 of those were the 2 touchdowns. Colin Klein, in games at Kansas State, was not afraid to unleash 20-plus play actions a game. Very common over there. Mm-hmm. We could see that as the next progression here. But I think part of that is just getting Reed up to speed. And I think there is another level to the passing game. And I think the running game is playing well enough right now to where you have a base and that identity formed to where, like you said, you can kind of see that expand and add to over the next weeks. But that takes Reed progressing, and I think he will. I think we've seen good stuff from him. Like I said a couple times, he missed stuff, but I wouldn't call him bad on the game. He wasn't terrible, right?
No shade to Marcel at all. I think you're right. Like, I mean, it's to be expected. Second start ever, and growing pains are going to happen. I think what it is that, like, was not necessarily a critique of Marcel or any specific player on the offense. It's a passing attack as a whole. We expected going into the season, Connor would be at the very minimum what we saw over the last few years. That's taken a step back, and now we're having to recalibrate
100%
our offensive expectations. And right now,
and the offense as a whole with a new quarterback, you have to recalibrate. It's a different skill set. It's a different player.
That's definitely true. And I don't think I think everyone saw, like, the score of last week, and there's thought, like, hey, we're just gonna offense has been fixed by having a new player, and that's not the case whatsoever. As far as some hope, we're not. This is not all doom and gloom. Even though we didn't necessarily take a step forward, we got away with a win. We'll take it. We look at growth over wins. I think is the most important thing, but growth is not necessarily linear.
Right. 100%.
I think it's just what it is you set just yourself further behind the 8 ball, and you're hoping for a massive spike, a curve up in growth, which that's why, it's kind of a dangerous thing to hope for that, because it's like you haven't seen something yet. Doesn't mean it's not there, but we're going deeper and deeper into the season. When are we going to discover? The schedule's getting harder. Like, that's the concern you get from fans.
Yeah, and I like what you say there. Success is not linear, because that's so true. It doesn't have to be game on game on game.
Yep.
And you're going to have setbacks. But here's what I'll say, going back to kind of this being a year one program. Mm-hmm. I've been saying this the whole time. I think there is more room for a year one program to improve over the course of a year than a more established program. And it's not always true. It's not a rule of thumb. But I think there's a lot of room for a year one program to improve in that first year. First of all, installation of plays is a week-on-week process. Becoming super efficient in your routine, but also in your playbook and your go-to plays and your assignments builds week on week on week. Coaches learning personnel that is largely new to them, a little bit unique in Elko's case, but for the most part, largely new to both coordinators. that builds week on week on week, finding your players trusting coaches and learning the coaches' expectations. That's all stuff you learn on the fly in year one. And if you can survive the early portion of a year one, which A&M has done so far, you just win, find ways to win, there's a lot of room for improvement. So if you can get to this bye and you can win these next 2 games, obviously, I'm speaking to the choir here. That'd be massive. But
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a finished product for these next 2. You have to be really good versus Missouri. But
Yeah.
I think they've shown vulnerabilities in Arkansas. Don't have to be perfect, but you got to play better. So not linear. You can still make it an improvement arc without it being every game. That's such a good point to bring up.
Yeah, and so definitely keep that in mind. Like, we've taken so many steps forward and backwards. Hard to tell where we're at with progression. I think we've evolved,
Right.
In general. If you look at where we started at the beginning of the year to where we are now, setbacks include, Connor not being up to snuff and, being hurt, and then wide receivers not getting as open. This game they weren't bad. We've been dogging on the receivers all season long so far, but this game they weren't bad. We just have a young quarterback, so it's not one thing, it's another. But there's time to get everything on the same page. We just got. What I really wanted to do was just find the root cause of all the constant. Well, it's not like it's end the world. We just gotta figure out the why behind everything.
Yeah, man. Some good points there, Noble. Any closing thoughts tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited for your preview of the A&M Arkansas game. That's gonna be a very interesting matchup. Talk about growth. We need a secondary to really show up next week because we can't have too many bust coverages against that team. And then the other one was, are you coming up for the A&M Arkansas game?
I'll be there, man. I'll be there.
Ooh. Okay. Well, hey, make an appearance. We have a tailgate getting set up between Texas Live at AT&T, and anyone that happens to be, in DFW that weekend for the game, it's gonna be open for the crowd.
Heck yeah, man. I'll DM you and get some more info from you. That's awesome. Hope to see you there, man. That's awesome.
Well, looking forward to Thursday night call. We'll be there, and we'll make another spectacular prediction.
All right, Noble. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, we'll do it. It'll be fun, man. I love this game. I love going to this game. It's a fun one to me. But you have a good night, Noble. Thanks for the call.
You too. Take care.
Later. Noble guy is the tailgating guy. That's what he does. Yeah, man. Arkansas is going to test us. Like I said at the beginning of the show, this is very, very easily could be a 4-win team. They just made the mistakes versus Oklahoma State, even though they largely outplayed them. They're obviously not perfect, and we aren't either. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be a game just like we're used to in Jerry World. I'm almost certain of it. It's going to be fun. I will miss the game in Jerry World. All right. We got a bunch of calls piling up. We have 2 more waiting now. If anybody else wants to get in here, we'll make a night of it. I was going to show y'all clips, but we're going super long on this. Maybe I'll still show you clips. All right. Lash, you're on with Drew. How you feeling, man?
Oh, just peachy.
Just peachy? I have a feeling you're not peachy. I have a feeling that was sarcasm.
Oh, yeah. I have a PhD in sarcasm.
Yes, I've noticed. You present it well.
Anyway, the first thing I'm going to say is I begin each season with great expectations and a positive attitude. Then October happens.
Ah, yes.
And I'm worried about the Arkansas game for 2 reasons.
Oh no.
One, that they have a stud running back that if they can get him past our defensive line, the way our linebackers have been playing or not playing, if you will, we could be getting gashed on the ground.
I know. He's good, and their O-line has improved.
And then there's Bobby Petrino, who is definitely human nature says he's going to be out to prove something.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any bad blood, but like you said, human nature, man. You want to beat your old team. That's absolutely a factor.
And if we have any busted coverages against that guy, we're going to pay for it.
Oh, yeah. They got some receivers, too. They got a quarterback who's inconsistent, but can sling it. Can get it to guys.
He's kind of the light version of Marcel Reed.
Sure.
He's got some of the same skill sets. He's just not as, I don't think he's as athletic as Marcel, but he's the kind of guy that if he's on his game, he can hurt you.
Absolutely. And another factor, were those your two reasons for fear?
Well, kind of building on those two fears. Because I said I'm not really thrilled with the matchups against Arkansas. First they're running back, and second Petrino.
Yeah. I'll give you a third one. I mean, Sam Pittman's coaching for his life.
Yeah,
he's given his best effort.
And then if we play the way against Florida, we could blow out Arkansas.
Yeah.
Because they barely beat Auburn, and Auburn's terrible.
Yeah.
The only thing that scares me about the Auburn game is it's at their place and it's late in the season, so they might actually get their act together by the time we play them.
I don't know.
They could. Yeah.
I don't know what kind of cursed grounds Jordan Hare was built on, but weird things happen there. Never a good feeling to go there.
Yeah, the kick six is Exhibit A.
Yep.
I don't think anybody in Tuscaloosa will forget that ever if they were alive to see it.
Oh, I know, man. That's a soul snatcher, is what I call it.
And what was the same season that bomb they beat Georgia with?
Was that the same year?
I think, yeah, it was.
Wow.
And then they wind up playing for the national championship. That was the last year Jimbo knew how to coach.
Right. That was just a destiny team, that Auburn team. Yeah, that was Jimbo's year. Yeah, I mean, I'll never feel good about going to Jordan Hare, even though A&M's for some reason had success there. It's always scary. But yeah, Arkansas played well. I mean, they played well enough to win the game, forced 5 turnovers. Auburn has had like 14 turnovers on the year, so they're prone to that kind of thing.
They actually outgained Arkansas by like 100 yards. But they put the ball on the ground 5 times, or they turned it over 5 times, and that was the difference in the ball game.
Yep.
And then Arkansas conversely did the same thing against Oklahoma State and blew a game they had no business losing.
Yep. Oh yeah, man, that was brutal. I watched that game. I think Arkansas blew that game. I think I counted 5 different times. 5 different things in the game happened. It was just self-inflicted mistakes.
That
they
is
just blew
called
it.
snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
That's exactly what they did in that game. Exactly. They should be 4-0 right now. They could be very well an undefeated team right now and a top 20 team right now.
Exactly. If we, it depends on which A&M team is going to show up. If the one that showed up in the swamp shows up in Jerry World, I think we win going away. If the one that kind of showed up against Bowling Green shows up, on the other hand, we're probably gonna lose.
Let me ask you this: seeing the team that you've seen this year, but knowing Elko, knowing the staff, everything that you feel about this team, which team do you predict shows up?
I'm predicting, and knock on wood. I'm knocking on my head as I say this.
Yes.
Knock on wood, because we stunk out the place. That game sucked rotten eggs.
Yes.
I think anybody that watched it knows what I'm talking about. But we won. That means that Elko gets to be mad all week.
Yep.
Without having to worry about destroying anybody's confidence, because
they won the game.
Yeah, we won the game. If we'd have lost the game, he'd kind of have to build up to hanging his foot up a few butts. But
exactly,
he could do it from day one this week because we won when some people would say we didn't deserve it. I'm not willing to go that far.
Yeah.
We did win, and Bowling Green didn't make the plays that they needed to make to win the game.
Yep.
But we were lucky. That game could have gone south. They hit one more big play, and that game goes south.
but you could have said the same about us. So it works both ways.
Yeah,
and
that's why, I mean, I wasn't ready to say that we didn't deserve to win.
Yep.
We did. But if we'd have lost, we would have deserved to lose.
100%. 100%. Yep. I mean, it's about, like you said, I mean, you can go straight like foot to ass.
Yep.
Right there this week. You don't have to sugarcoat it. You don't have to be like.
When I was teaching physics, I used to call that acceleration due to foot.
Yeah. And you go straight. There's minimal, what do you call it? Friction. There's minimal, whatever. It's direct. It's direct. There's no sugarcoating it because you won the game. They'll hang their hats on that. They got to win in Kyle Field, and now you get your ass chewed out or kicked all week. And that's the beautiful part of a game like that. But the players have to respond.
Yep. And I that's the one thing I like about Elko is I think he knows which buttons to push and how many times to push them to get the team fired up without losing the locker room.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I love the guy so far. I mean, he's done everything to appease, like to make me feel good about him. Got to go get the wins. I'm liking what I'm seeing in that front. It's going to be about the improvement under a year one staff.
Like when I said used car salesman, I think that's a regional thing.
No, I got it.
The difference between a used car salesman and an auctioneer is that most auctioneers have a twang.
Right.
They sound like they're from down here, whereas used car salesman. But either one of them is going to accentuate the positive and gloss over the negative to try and get you to buy something.
Exactly. Maybe it's a used car salesman that dabbles in auctioneering on the weekends, and that's how you get the guy. But anyway, Lash, it is not October yet. We'll see what happens, man. Hopefully this is the October that proves you wrong.
I am going to revise my prediction. I don't think we're going 8-4 anymore, but or rather 4-8 anymore. But
you might need to see the Arkansas game first. But go ahead.
Even if we blow the Arkansas game, we can still play the way we played against Bowling Green and beat Mississippi State. If we don't beat New Mexico State, they should disband the program and burn down Kyle Field.
Right.
And then we should beat Auburn unless Hugh Freeze manages to get their act together between now and November. But so that's we've already won 3, and that's 3 more that are pretty much in the bag. We blow the Arkansas game. So I don't see us doing any worse than 6-6, but we should go 8-4.
Yeah. And man, winning Arkansas alone will do wonders for the confidence of this program. But if you can get through the bye week, beating Missouri too, we'll be on top of the world. But we're ahead of things. It's all about the season is now. The season is now. Missouri's
beatable, and we got them in our place, but we can't play like we did against Bowling Green.
Yep, man. I know it. Well, all right, Lash. I appreciate it, man. Hope to hear from you soon. We'll revisit things as we get more information.
Have a good one.
You too. Great call. All right. Give me just a minute, and then I will jump on to the last caller we have. I'll take any call right now if anybody wants to jump in here, but if not, play to win will be our last caller. Give me 60 seconds real quick. All right, thanks for bearing with me. Drew gonna have a 10 outside signing autographs for $20. Hey, I'll sign a baby for 10.
I'll make this real quick. Just hang loose.
All right, play to win. You're on with Drew, man. How you feeling, man? How you feeling after the game? You settled in? It's settled in? It's sunken in? Where are you at, man?
Well, right now I feel like the caboose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last but not least, I'm gonna tell you something, man. It was really kind of a lackluster game last Saturday evening, and I think it was such a high coming off that Florida win that I felt there was a dip in the energy. I think there was just kind of some complacency. But I don't want to take anything away from Bowling Green because they played us great.
They did.
That double reverse was a real doozy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was something, and we were out there sleeping, so you were out in the recliner, watching a game or something. I don't know what happened there, but it just caught us off guard, and we got to be ready for that. But that's a good learning thing.
Yeah.
Let's run through practice and look. Well, this is what double reverse looks like, and this is what our defense has to do to stop it.
There are cutback drills for sudden change of direction that they will probably do this week because not only did that work really well, but I felt like their running back did a really good job of cutting back in this game, and they got big gains off of every cutback because I felt like linebackers were putting themselves in positions where they were kind of buried in the trenches and couldn't remain flexible in the play. Yeah. So that's something they can drill that. There are drills for that, and I think it'll be a point of emphasis this week.
Yes, and injuries. We are just, I'm just seeing guys falling out left and right the other night, and it was hot. And some of them were just leg cramps. Fortunately, it was just that.
Yeah, there were a lot of cramping. Yeah.
I could have swore I saw Bryce being helped off the field, or there were some people went out to go check on him, and then they escorted him back to the sideline.
Yeah, yep.
I thought I saw that. Anyway, and some of our linemen, kudos to them, man. They're playing as best they can with the line that we have because of the injuries and people having to go out and people having to go in, to replace them. And they're doing, I think we're just at a loss right now when, we keep losing players. It's just, it's disheartening. But hopefully Thursday we have some good news. Now I watched Coach Elko after the game and he didn't seem like he was too concerned
about injuries.
Yeah, there was nothing major. He didn't say, "Oh, well, this one's questionable. This one might, or this one's definitely out for the next game." We didn't hear none of that. Good.
No, yeah, you were right. I think most of them, the stuff people left, like Shamar Turner left with a cramp. I think Basantis left with like a dead leg. But the big ones, Stewart left the game. Elko seemed to think he's fine. Shanahan left the game, never came back. Elko said he's fine. So you're absolutely right there. And since it's an SEC, I'm learning this on the fly, and maybe you guys can, everybody knows this, and I'm just an idiot, which is probably true. But the injury report that is mandated now this year for the first time is only mandated for SEC versus SEC opponents. I did not realize that, so we didn't get one versus Bowling Green. So we will get some sort of clarity on Wednesday. I have a feeling to gain a strategic edge, there are going to be a lot of questionables there, but I have a feeling a lot of those guys will play.
Yeah, it's kind of a sight, questionable, and then all of a sudden, they can play.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
Saturday comes up, and just keep Arkansas guessing. That's the sight game.
Absolutely.
And then we go for the physical game. We get out there on the field against them. But we've had them whammy on Arkansas for years. Now, we can't take them. We don't take no team lightly.
Yeah, I know.
Bowling Green could have turned into an Appalachian State moment. It could have.
Okay, everybody, you play to win, the chat. How did you feel when that punt got blocked? When that happened, it was a 3-point game, I think. They blocked the punt.
We were up by 3.
That was when I was sinking. I was like, "This is App State."
That's when I had flashbacks of Appalachian State.
That was the game that was the play where I was, oh my goodness. But fortunately, defense had 2 good plays there. Missed on the running back pass. They missed the field goal. That was the play right there. That's where I was, as they say, and I don't know if you're familiar with this phraseology, shitting bricks. That's what they say. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm very, very familiar.
Yeah.
Back in my teen days, I knew that one.
Yeah. That's what they say. Anyway, sorry. I think you were about to say something.
No, that's about all I have to offer, Drew. Noble one was great. All the calls were great. You know, I enjoyed the show, and I'm glad you made it on tonight because I know you have a real life that you live. So
yeah, it's honestly, this is the season I've committed the most to this channel by doing 2 live shows a week and committing to my schedule of at least, I think, 3 or 4 videos a week. It's a lot. Finding ways to make it work, and it's temporary, right? It's a fall season, then you kind of let off. So I'm giving it my all right now, and I appreciate the kind words. It's a lot of fun. Y'all make it great. I mean,
yeah, everybody,
everyone,
I mean,
this chat, the callers, y'all are all great. I mean, everyone makes this great.
I'm just glad. I'm glad you can do what you do, you know, and you can do these shows, and also the videos that you put out, you know, that keeps us informed.
Yeah,
and it gives us some food for thought, you know, about the game, the upcoming game. Now it's all about Arkansas.
Yeah, absolutely.
From tonight on till Saturday, it's all about the Arkansas Razorbacks. So we got to be focused on them, and I know Coach Elko is, and the players are, and they're ready to get after it. I'll tell you, they're probably chomping at the bit to get back out there and show what they can do. But hopefully, there's not any serious injuries. There's not, you know, nothing serious in the injury department, and everybody can get back out there. You maybe a little lame, but you know they can get out there on 2 legs, man, and perform and get the job done against them.
Absolutely, man. Well, all right, Play to Win. That was a great call. I appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
We'll talk soon. Adios.
Okay, buddy. Thanks.
All right. That concludes the calls. Let's catch up with the chat, and then we'll spend the last 10 minutes or so looking at some clips. I'm not going to go super in-depth. We don't have much time. But let's look at them. I have some cool stuff to show y'all. Let's see what else. Y'all were all pale during that punt block. Full-time content maker? No. Can't do that. What do I do for a living? I've never shared this on the channel. I'll be vague because I don't like to cross streams, if you know what I mean. I work for a online retailer, multi-platform online retailer. I also dabble in some real estate. Stuff that I'm pretty flexible with. I can do a lot of work from home, fortunately, which helps with this. But it's 9 to 5. It's a full-time job, so I'll never probably be able to do this full-time, unfortunately. You never know, but that's probably not really there. I also breed goldfish. That's true. And I sign babies for $10 a pop. All right. Let's look at some clips, huh? That sound pretty fun? That sound like something we want to do? Let's look at some clips from the game. Both positive and negative. I could have loaded this with totally negative clips. I chose not to do that because that didn't seem very fun. So I sprinkled in some positive stuff along the way. All right. Let me see if I can get my screens aligned here, and we'll look at some stuff from the game. Boom, boom, boom. Boom. All right. Does that look good? All right. This is the touchdown play. So, obviously, loading the box, playing close to the line of scrimmage. Of course they are. Here, we're in a 2 tight end look. And this is one of the 10 play actions we ran in the game. I talked to you guys about this. 10 out of 7 on play actions, or 7 out of 10 on play actions, 2 of which were for a touchdown. This was the first one. Opening drive was really a Marcel Reed 3rd down masterclass. He did really good on this drive. The best he looked all game, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a play action play with an end around fake. Theo gets the one-on-one. Best ball of the night for Marcel Reed right there. Great ball placement, factoring in the size advantage that Theo has on the, I think, the safety here, or the nickel. I'm not sure what this guy is. But look at the ball. I mean, come on. That's a ball that only Theo can get in this matchup. I love the play action here. Freeze these guys, slow them down, give your guy an advantage here. Great play. Just a fantastic play. I mean, I've gotten a lot. Yeah, I recorded on my phone. That was just revealed to you. But I got a lot of comments today about getting Theo more involved, and I think I agree, man. He's had 2 huge catches on the year. Huge target. Obviously great hands. I mean, hell of a play right there by Theo. Great play design. Great idea. Great ball. Great play. Let's just have fun. Let's have some fun, huh? Are you not entertained? Look at this. Walking off. like Maximus. Are you not entertained? Shamar Stewart getting his first solo sack, I think, of his career. But cool thing here. Simulated blitz right here. You have 6 guys at the line, another potential blitzer here. You're not going to bring all of them. Typically when they do this, they don't bring them all. It's rare that they bring them all. But what having these guys at the line of scrimmage does is it makes the offensive line have to account for each player. So you can see right here, Stewart is lined, I think, on the outside shoulder of this. I think this is a tackle right here. This is the tight end, yeah. Outside shoulder of the tackle. And I think this guy assumes Shamar's going to go on his outside and attack him that way. He assumes Ratcliffe's going to go here. But look what happens. Ratcliffe backs out. Shamar Turner goes inside and immediately has an advantage by way of this simulated pressure. So let's go slow. So he beats him inside right away. Ratcliffe's backing out, and that's all she wrote. You got a freak beast running at you. You got an Adonis, a Spartan, a monster flexing on you. That never feels good. But it feels good for us, doesn't it? It feels good for us. All right. We had issues defending the screen this game. A lot of issues defending the screen. I think we saw in Florida, Shamar Stewart recognize the screen really well, blow it up. But you got to give it to Bowling Green. They got crafty with some of this stuff. And this was maybe my favorite play they ran all day. So I forget the exact ins and outs of the play, so we'll watch it live first. So it's a fake play action there. Thanon, superstar tight end. This play gets called back, by the way, but I think it's still worth showing. But what I don't like here is none of the defensive line recognizes the screen. Obviously, it's a great design, because look at what Thanon does. Where's Thanon? I think Thanon's here. He acts like he's going to be a lead blocker for the screen going this way. So you have misdirection on several levels here. You have the end around as a play action play going this way. Maybe freeze some people up going this way. Eyes going this way. But then you have this guy swinging out here. You think the play is going here. You have 2 lead blockers going this way. But then look what the tight end does as a lead blocker. It's crazy. Look, he goes out. Nope. Going back. He's the main target. No one expects it. No one recognizes the screen at all, which is unfortunate. Marcus Ratcliffe here. I've been really high on him all year. He's been great. We're going to dog on him for a second here. He's on a blitz here. And he has all the time in the world. It's not an early blitz. He's not playing up. He has all the time in the world to react to this, and he could have had a pick 6 on this play. Watch him. Right here. The ball goes right by him, man. We did not handle the screens well, and this is some of the recognition stuff I thought that the back 7 struggled with on the day. Really good play design, though. I mean, holy cow. That was really, really, really cool. All right. Next play. Okay, this is another one where I just thought that the back 7 was being indecisive. Also, D-line not recognizing the screen again. I mean, they all pursue. No one really peels off and sees it or understands the play. That's okay. It happens. That's what screens are designed to do. But what I don't like here is how these players respond to the screen and respond in open field. I'd like to see more aggression here. Maybe y'all can talk to me about this one. Maybe they're doing their jobs. I'm really not entirely sure what they're coached to do here, but this feels off to me. So, boom. Screen's there. You have 3 guys bearing in. You do have 3 blockers. This guy's kind of out of the play, though. He's behind. The play is ahead of him, and he's slower. I don't think he's getting in this play. But then you see these 2 players kind of freeze up here, and I don't like this. So they're here, and they just kind of stand there. And then bad tackle by, I think that was Brooks. I just don't like the way they responded in open field at times, and this is one of those plays. See, they're just kind of standing there waiting to see the play develop. I'd like to see more aggression here, more decisiveness. I don't know about you guys on that one. That's how I felt about this play. All right, next one is when they finally did sniff out a screen, and this is how it should look if your D-line is locked in and honed in on this screen action, which finally came late. Look at the D-line here. Stewart and Turner beelining it, just get blown up by Stewart. That was a 3rd down play, so they got off the field. I think they converted a 4th down after this. I don't remember. But I just love the recognition here. They see the screen. They're ready for it. This is just a simple slip screen, so it didn't have as much deception, but they recognized it, and that was good. So, full circle here. They finally did recognize it. Good to see. Why does the A&M defense look so slow? Do they look slow? I also like B.J. May's effort here. I like that. I like that he made a play there, even though there's a big blocker in front of him. I appreciate that based on some other stuff we got from the back 7 this game. Maybe B.J. Mays has a bigger role going forward. I don't know if they look slow. I don't know if I feel the same way. Okay, early in the game, I've been talking about this today. I thought the O-line played really good. After the first quarter. But stuff like this is what plagued A&M offensive line-wise in that first quarter. It wasn't a full breakdown. It was just a single player. He took a turn. Everybody took a turn making a bad play, quoting Jimbo. This was, I think, Ruben Fothery's turn to make a mistake. No, yeah, this is Ruben Fothery just kind of busting on a play. And stuff like this will blow up a play. You're only as good as your weakest link on the offensive line, usually. But watch, he just whiffs here. Takes a step out. The guy goes inside. You're out of position. The play's blown up. Because outside of that, blocking's good enough to make a little gain right there. I mean, running backs don't have to beat this guy, but that's a positive play if you get through there. It becomes a negative play. You're behind the chains. You end up back here after a penalty. So stuff like that. I'll show you one more. This is Theo. We gave Theo a highlight. We're going to give Theo a low light here. However, this is a really, really hard block for a tight end or any offensive lineman to make. This is going to be a zone run right. Theo is going to be asked to block this defensive end who's lined up on his inside shoulder. Theo's footwork is bad here. He doesn't make the play. He could have sealed him off. He didn't. But it's still a really, really hard play to make. So watch it in full time first. So Theo just gets beat inside. The guy blows the play up. Good blocking outside of that. Probably a 4 or 5 yard gain. Plays like that. This is the same drive. This is like the next play, I think, or the play after the penalty. Just individuals on the O-line kind of messing up early. And look at this. I think Theo needs to take a stronger first step with his right foot here. Watch his footwork. He's up before he takes the step. You should be taking a strong step first. And he kind of shuffles, leans forward, out of position. The guy crosses his face. But we've seen good blocking from Theo. I'm picking on him here. We showed his touchdown pass. He has had good blocks on the year as well. He will learn a lot. He will get better and better. Really high on Theo. Just pointing it out to you guys. Let's show you some good blocking that we saw later in the game. All right. I believe this is a pin and pull play. It could just be a double pull power play. But based on who's pulling here, I think it's pin and pull. It's a gap scheme play going right. We'll break it down after we watch it. Look, just clean blocks here. Look at Fowey sealing the guy off. I really like our Reed Adams on this play. 13-yard gain. So pin and pull. Staple of Colin Klein. I believe that's what this is. Could be wrong. They're following the same rules regardless, so it still stands, even if this is not what I think it is. So on a pin and pull play, you're either pinning or pulling, obviously. If there's a guy lined up on your inside shoulder, you're pinning. If there's a guy that's not lined up on your inside shoulder, you're pulling. Right here, center, no one lined up on his inside shoulder, he's going to pull. Right here, Trey Zune, no one lined up on his inside shoulder. You have like a 7 tech out here. That's not inside shoulder. That's away from you. He's pulling. Boom. Basante's going to block him, and then you're running with your gap over here. So check it out. So yeah, Armage makes a great block here. Watch it happen. Look, he seals the guy off totally. Look at that. Just powerful. Basantes could be cleaner, but still stops the guy. And then you have a beautiful gap here. Fayu seals this guy off perfectly. Great play. Just a great play. Love it. Love it. O-line played really well down the stretch. Really, really well. Another one. And this is an example of a gap scheme play where you don't necessarily have to run to where the play is designed. You have options. If you see daylight and you're a running back, you hit it. You don't have to lock into your gap. You're on that track, and that's the intention of the play. But if you see it and it's there, you go for it. And Amari does just that on this play. So we'll break it down after we watch it full. Boom. Sees the daylight, gets a first down. Great play right here. So another pin and pull type of play. Reed Adams, Basantes, neither have a player lined up on their inside shoulder. Inside relative to the play. Outside's where the play is going. Inside is where the play is not going. No one lined up on their shoulders. They're both pulling. They both go outside. The play's going this way. But there's daylight right here. This guy's vacating because he doesn't recognize the play at all for some reason. And boom, he just hits it. So when you see running backs not following their blocks and you get this productivity out of it, that's good. It's good. That's what you want. You've had some plays in this game, though, where running backs did make questionable angles. 2 or 3. But this wasn't one of them. Great play. Love it. Remain flexible. Take what's there. Take what's given. That's good. All right. This is just an amazing play design. I mean, they put in the mobile quarterback, the dual threat. Everyone's keying in on him. Is this a zone read? They're doing something here. They're all eyes on this. They're focused on this. They stuffed this run, but they had this up their sleeves, man. They were waiting on this play the whole time. And everyone's committed this way. Not really in best position over here, although I think you could have made a tackle. We'll look at that in a second. And then, boom, he's gone to the house. Now, y'all have to tell me if I'm being nitpicky here. I brought this up in my morning show this morning. I felt a little guilty about it. Look, so these fast guys, they do this pursuit drill all the time in practice where you just run to the sideline, make an angle, make a play. Last line of defense are these players with the angle over here. Fast guys with the angle. So you see they recognize it here late. Dalton Brooks beelines it for the play. But I don't like Jaden Hill not really making an effort on this play. I don't know. I mean, is he out of this play? Is it okay that he did this? Or should he have beelined it here? I don't know what to make. And then Torin York doesn't have the speed to make a play here, unfortunately. Hill just jogs. I don't like that. And I also don't like this here. I don't like this pursuit right here. I don't like just accepting the block, running into the blocker. Just square up here at least and stop the path. I know you see the blocker here and you're trying to get physical with it and shed it and get there, but that guy's going full speed. I thought it was a bad Will Lee game. He's been better. I expect better from him. He will be better. But just some stuff I feel like you could have made a play here. I don't know. Am I being nitpicky? You guys tell me. I don't know. But it was a great play design by them. Hats off to them. All right. And to oppose that, here's some really good effort by Brooks and Sanford here. I love the way Brooks approaches this blocker here. This is not what we saw most of the game. This is a DB making an extreme effort on a blocker and not accepting a block. And this is a fullback on Dalton Brooks right here. And he, makes something happen. He's physical. He's active. He gets low. He kind of gets in the play. Really cool stuff. And then also, Damian Sanford here. He gets face masked on this play. See that? Look at that. Throw the damn flag. Throw it. But he still makes the play. Boom. Sanford's there. Love it. Also, I mean, I'm pretty sure they busted on this play. Let's just be fair. Because there's no reason that the guy right over... Look, I mean, this play doesn't go back further than this on this clip. Are you really asking the center to get the guy that's lined up over the guard right here on a play going this way? That's just not possible. So this guard is vacating. He's pulling. Regis just makes a play here, just gets in the backfield. Play's broken here, and he's getting held. He's getting held here. 2 flags on this play that didn't get thrown. Oh my gosh, he's being held so much. Yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's a bust on their blocking there. All right, check this out. This is just a lovely play. This is just lovely. Watch Scorton here. Scorton had a great game. He's a monster on the game. So this is what they call this, a split zone, where this tight end gets the trailer on the play. They disregard the defensive end with this lineman, and he gets upfield. They're going to combo block up to this linebacker here. And this guy takes care of the trailer on the play, which is Scorton. But look at how physical Scorton gets here with this guy right here. Bump. Make the play. Scorton disregarded that block. Scorton disregarded that block. That was beautiful. Love to see it. Kevin, are we begging for flags, Kevin? Is that what we're doing? Is that the point of this exercise, Kevin? Come on now. Is that really what we're doing here? All right, and we'll end it on this note. Let's just watch a delicious play to end it. Oh my goodness, big time Turner sack. We got both Shamars involved in the game. He's dancing, he's feeling good. Honestly though, really physical, good play by Regis on this stunt where it's Regis is going inside and he's the looper here. Terminology's escaping me right now, but Turner's the stunning guy, the guy that's kind of going behind Regis. Turner's the one that's going to loop right here. But look at how good Regis occupies this guy here. Doesn't let them get a touch on him, really. Look at Regis making a mess right there. Turner just gets in there and makes the big sack. Bo Shamar's got a nice sack today. Cool stuff. I threw some positives in there. That was fun. That's all I have for you guys. Those are the plays I wanted to show y'all. Some lovely stuff. I mean, even in the bad, there was some good, guys. There was some good. Obviously, stuff to clean up. But that's about it for the show, guys. That's about it. I had a lot of fun tonight. Great callers. Y'all make this worth it, man. Great chat. I mean, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. It's Arkansas Hate Week. Go eat your bacon. Eat your pork chops. And we're going to beat the hell out of Kevin and the piggies. Ted says, not nitpicky on Hill. That's a loaf. Nitpicky on Will Lee, though. He's trying to get the edge and take out the blocker backside. Yeah, maybe. Not nitpicky on Hill. I just didn't like the effort by Hill on that play. That was me. But, yeah, I knew I was being nitpicky somewhere. Maybe I'm nitpicky on Will Lee there. But, all right, guys. Thanks, Mama Drew. Love you, Mom. Shan Tuning. Good to see you, man. TX427 was here the whole time. Good show, Drew. Good calls. Always enjoy it. Hopefully I get out to the game this weekend, try to meet up, beat the hell out of Arkansas. Man, I'd love to see you. The broken coverages also hurt self-esteem. Yeah. There were some busted coverages. I didn't even show them. I didn't show the big touchdown to Fanning because I felt like that one was so cut and dry. Just a busted coverage. I didn't even show that play because it was just a bust. I didn't show the 3 missed touchdowns that Bowling Green had down the stretch because I think those were pretty cut and dry. Aggie Man, thank you. John Peroni, thank you. Guys, y'all have a great night. I'll drop my Arkansas preview video tomorrow, and then we'll go live for our final Arkansas call-in show on Thursday. Y'all have a great night. Beat the hell out of the piggy.